Using transaction records and GPS traces from GazeTech employees, we explore how visual analytics can help the events surrounding their unexplained disappearance. Our visualization system includes three types of interactive toys: the transaction toys, the map toy, and selection filter toy, each helping users explore patterns, anomalies, and connections across multiple data sources. I will first walk through our transaction toys. This toy enables users to explore credit and loyalty card activity. The heat map shows that these four locations are among the most frequently visited based on the total transaction counts. For example, clicking on the heat map sales for the Caterina's Cafe shows transaction peaks around 1 p.m. and 8 p.m., typically lunch and dinner hours. During our analysis, we identified two main anomalies. First, these three locations shows an unusual high number of the loyalty card transactions compared to the credit card transactions, a pattern that deviates from typical consumer behavior, as direction potentially data logging inconsistencies or specially assessed usage. Second, we found that four coffee shops records all these transactions exactly at 12 p.m., indicating possibly timestamp errors or delay logging in the data collection system.
Okay, now let's find out what if I add vehicle data to our previous analysis. For anomaly A, if we check all, we can see there's only trucks who go to airport and refinery. Let me make it clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. The refinery is right here. I mean, that means this loyalty problem is most likely associated with these trucks, right? I'm not saying these truck drivers are the one who did it because they might just bring someone to airport and refinery, but I'm thinking this is a good way to think about it, right? We can just start investigating with them first. Yep. For the second anomaly, we know there's a Ford shop. This one, maybe two is the same thing. We can see all the transaction happens unknown exactly, but if we check all the tracks and we see the whole point, the holding point, you can see actually the transaction is it happens spreading out from morning to the evening. I think it's just from our vehicle data. I think it's just a error from the commercial side. Maybe just data logging, something like that. It just shows weird. And for another discrepancy, it's a car 28. We can see his move pattern is way different from others because his GPS data, the point is just jump a lot. I think it's a two possibility about this. The first one is the device is broken accidentally, and second one, he on purpose made it to cover some activities because in this way we really can't tell what is happening on him. There's only two stay point compared to the others, so I think we should investigate him further. Yep.
So for for this dashboard, here's the dashboard we built after completing question 3. We invert the credit card loyalty card ownership for 35 users, and this tour data explorer interactively. On the left, I can filter by department or select individuals. For example, let's see if I select the Sven Thatcher. I think there's some rendering issue here, but let's see we select this person right here. We can see the loyalty card and credit card information on the top and the summary of his purchase. Below that, this bar chart shows where he spent money. Mostly, we can see here is in Shopper's Delight and the guy Grovers. It helps us understand individual spending patterns and spot potential anomalies. So for the next one, we can see the metrics. Let's see here, we do 50 meters and 30 meters and generate the meeting metrics. So as you can see here, this metric shows how often two people were near each other by setting threshold on the top. The darker the square means more frequent meeting. And also another feature, as you can see here, is that when I hung over here, we can see Loretto and Ilse see that they met for 51 times. And this helps us to identify informal interactions or hidden social connections, not obviously from the official roles. We can also adjust the threshold as mentioned. So let's go back, and the next one is the credit card usage location. So if I select here, I can choose all the people in one department, or I can just choose one by one. And this dashboard shows how much people spend at the selected location over time. We can filter by department, as I just showed, and also we can select multiple individual. We've seen here, let's see how about choose Howen grounds, and here the heat map updates accordingly. The x-axis shows the dates, and the y-axis shows the employee and their car numbers. The darker the square, the higher they're spending on that day at that location. It's a great way to catch the overlapping visits or the abnormal spending behavior. So finally, we zoom out to see overall daily spending. On the left, a stack area shows the total spending over time, splitting by department, and which we can also filter these two charts here by clicking the checkboxes here, and different departments are showing as the different color. On the right is the heat map showing a daily purchase by individual employees, and on the left, the stack area is kind of we can clearly see the spike under 18s, mainly from security department and the facility departments, which has the higher spending than other departments. It's very useful view for spotting spending spikes and seeing exactly who was involved. For example, here we can see this, which also got the 40 as well. Task number 3. So we started by matching the credit card and loyalty card data based on their timestamp, location, and the amount spent in each transaction. The assumption here is that simple. People usually use the same credit card and loyalty card together. Using this rule, we find over 1,000 matching transactions and infer that 45 cards pairs, and confidently assign 32 to specific employee. As you can see here, their employee info CSV files, their last data matching we do after the preliminary analysis. And to double check, we cross references their GPS data. As you can see here, if a member car was within 100 meters for their location during the transaction, we took that as a supportive evidence. For example, here you can see Neil Callisto. There was near 25 out of 49 transactions for specific card pairs that made him a strong candidate for this loyalty card and credit card connections. So of course there are uncertainty as well. Some cards matches multiple times and multiple people, and the GPS data wasn't always complete. That's the uncertainty in their method and in their data. So task number 4, firstly, we noticed that there's repeated call visits to a hotel by Brand and Elsa on 4 days, the 8th, 18th, 14th, and 17th. This isn't a common business location, so we flag it as a possible non-work relationship because it's a hotel. Next, the biggest gathering we detect from the map is the gathering happening around this area. So this is on January the 10th. There are 11 employees from different teams gathered at what looks like a private home to us. It's not a public place. And as you can zoom in here a little bit, they actually arrive after work and stay past midnight. It looks more like a party than a work event. That kind of after party may suggest a clustering or social ties among those people. We would further investigate their relationship. So lastly, the security department showed a strong internal interaction except for one person, which is Hideki, who appear isolated comparatively to other people. Most of people will meet around like 50 times based on our data analysis, and those two are only meeting for 25 times in the past 5 weeks. And using the same analysis tools, we also detect that Brand and Miki actually meet more often than what they made with their own team. So I think that's also something that we should consider. And because Brand is the kind of the center of the first relationship we detect and the third one, we would investigate Brand Tempestad further. So task number 5, the first suspicious relationship, the activity we detect is Excel's Calzo's credit cards. As you can see here, this big amount spending by Excel in January the 17th, which makes the 102,039 at the closing store. This is definitely unusual, and they've been shopped at but like the GPS data showed Excel wasn't near the store, but these two people, Ada and Felix, are near the people. Although we would say that they are all shopped there usually, but this raises the possibility of card misuse either through shared access or private theft.
Another evidence we found out is possible credit card stealing. It started with we searching around with our dashboard, and we found out there's a $10,000 transaction on card 9551, and we put it into our query system. We found out we can see there's a 10,000 amount is way larger than other amount. So we, because from other analysis, it should be the owner should be this guy. So we turn on his track, and we found out he never been there. And even though even the closest position he reached there is happens on January 16th. So we are thinking maybe some person stealing his credit card. So we searched one by one and filtering the time into their area, and we finally found out 3 person, car 13, car 15, car 16. There's only 3 person used to close to this place. So we think they might be borrow or steal this car to do something or to hide something. So we further investigate these people, and we first found out the car 16. This guy, he has very weird move pattern at midnight. If we set the daily filter from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m., we can see he usually stay at these 2 parks at night for only 2 to 4 hours, and this place is very far away from city, so this is very suspicious. So we try to find out who he meet up the most. So we check the matrix of meeting frequency between the employees, and we found out another 3 persons. These 3 guys, they meet 41, 49, 30 times, and we check their GPS data, and we found out they have very similar move pattern at night. Let me show you guys. 50. Yeah, they all like to stay around at this area at night for only 2 for 4 hours. This is very suspicious. So we think they are doing something bad, and they are probably accomplice. And later when we are playing around, we found out firstly these guys are all from the security department, and the second one, the places they are like to stay around at night is actually the home of the CFO and the CIO. So that means this guy either protecting them or monitoring the executives. But no matter what, they are always stay like 2 or 4 hours, not the whole night, and leaving before the drones. So they always acting sneaky. We believe they are suspicious and need more investigation.
In the final days before the disappearance, 2 events stood out. On January 8th, CIO and Campo Correctness and IT staff News Clicksco met privately at Coroner's Mars for nearly 2 hours. Security officer Roger Latros was also nearby, suggesting the meeting may have been discreetly observed. And during the last 2-hour record of the January 9th, just before the disappearance, several key employees, including the CEO and technical Brent Tempestad, guarding at the brevet being served. The GPS trace shows multiple security employees present nearby, likely monitoring the meeting. These unusual convergences of the leadership and security staff suggest a covert final guarding, one that may be directly linked to the suspicious events that follows. Taken together, these patterns raise serious questions that warrant further investigation.